and welcome to National Children's Day UK 2020 Big Learnings. I think it's had quite a big effect to the world, with students from all over the world kind of working together on this big strike. And it has put many companies under pressure to change, and some of them are on the brink of changing, some of them have pledged to, and some have made some big changes recently.
There's the Interceptor, which I find an excellent idea, put up by the Ocean Cleanup Group, and there's an image there. As you can see, it collects quite a few plastic every day. This is crazy fact. It collects 50,000 kgs per day. Just one Interceptor. So cool.
So what the Interceptor does is it collects its plastic and basically recycles it into other plastic things. And another company that's doing that is called Plastic Bank. And Plastic Bank is basically paying fishermen who have lost their jobs due to hardly any fish in the ocean because of the plastic, where they're fishing and overfished. Yeah. And they are collecting plastic waste and they are selling it to the Plastic Bank, where they will turn it into things clothing. And they've created water bottles.
It's the ocean bottle, and
They
they
created 1,000 plastic bottles from entering the ocean.
Yep. Ecoute is a search engine that helps plant trees in places where they're needed most. It works because the ad from the search engine, instead of them keeping the money, they do it to employ the people to plant the trees.
Many other reefs are in danger from global warming a lot, as you've probably heard. And what happens is, as the temperature rises, the algae kind of dies. It can't really hold that temperature, causing the coral not to have any food, and therefore it kind of turns pale and white, and it's called bleaching. And to help prevent it is basically these big they're like things, and basically I think they're on boats, and what they do is they collect some seawater and add salt to it, then squirt it into the air, creating clouds, to prevent the sun from getting in, to cool down the coral.
Okay, there's Spun City, which is a place where the pavements are like one big sponge, and all of the water in the monsoon season goes into it and goes into a water system, and then when it's in the summer, instead of there being droughts, it still stays moist. As you can see up here, it's quite a beautiful place. There's tons of parks with tons of trees.
So quite a lot of land is used and water to plant crops and to farm animals, and also they are spraying pesticides, which are going into the atmosphere and contributing to global warming. And one thing is a slightly more plant-based diet will help with the farming animals. And one thing that is very nutritious as instead of meat, it's full of protein is algae. And probably the most nutritious superfood in the world is called spirulina. And it's a particular type of algae that's basically, if you look at it under a microscope, it's like little spirals, which is why it gets its name. And it is full of like most of the nutrients you'll need, anyone will need. Though it does need it in high doses. It is very good and easy to grow. It can double in size every day with the right farming. Hydroponics and microgreens are all really they're a very good way to plant crops. And instead of it being on a big field, they can have it in a building, and it can tower up. And for hydroponics, they kind of row on top of each other with little plants growing, and that is preventing the space used and water. They're using a lot less water. I think 10% of the water that they normally use for traditional farming. So less energy, less water, and less space. 70% of all fresh water used goes into agriculture. So think how much water we'd have left if they were to not use as much in farming.
Enjoy learning about these great projects and many more that are helping to make the world a better place.
And keep learning all the time. Happy
National Children's Day, UK!